Renovations versus remodeling. What's the difference and why does it even matter? One of the first things you need to know when you begin to search for someone to do your project is the difference between renovating and remodeling, or just some repairs. Home renovations involve minor updates to existing structures. Existing structures are walls, beams, foundations, the big stuff. They are typically quicker and less expensive, with minimal labor and material costs. And we're going to get into other costs too. Usually remodelers have a lot of overhead. So these are things like new paint and wall repairs, flooring updates, replacing cabinets and countertops, tiling. Yes, I do read this stuff. I'm not going to remember it all. Adding new interior doors and trims, light plumbing, like faucets, under the sink work, installing toilets and so on, light electrical work, installing new fixtures, fans, lights, and maybe some switches and outlets, okay? This is the type of stuff I do. I do renovations. I don't do remodels. And what I tell my prospects is I do almost anything before a permit is required. I'll do almost everything except behind the wall stuff, like running water lines and electrical throughout the house. I'll repair all the walls in your house, but I will not sheetrock your whole house. You understand? Some repairmen and renovators have been known to bend the rules on this one. The question is whether or not they told you. It's an honesty thing. Now, home remodeling, on the other hand, involves a significant structural change. Significant structural changes. This includes demolition, like big demo, like your garage is coming down kind of demo. Like they're going to need to bring in trucks and stuff to get the debris out and whatever, whatnot. Construction, building the structure, like new wall frames, adding a room, removing walls, and even starting from scratch. Remodels often require hiring specialized contractors like plumbers and electricians, as well as obtaining necessary permits. Now, there's nothing saying that a renovator like me can't call a licensed plumber or electrician or an HVAC on an existing structure. So if I'm running into behind the wall stuff, we're going to call in somebody. You know what I'm saying? If we're doing tricky stuff, that's when you call in the licensed person, but you don't, that's easy peasy. But remember, even that's for the smaller stuff. A renovator shouldn't be running the show on something where your whole house is getting rewired. Like if that's the case, that's kind of on your own. If you, as a homeowner, want to get your whole house rewired, go at it. It's just, I'm not taking a cut out of that. I'm not managing that. I'm not managing and babysitting and checking on a bunch of work that I don't have the expertise on. That's how that is. But in any case, these specialists, it's more for the remodeling. Like when you're adding on another room and you need to run lighting in it and maybe an additional fuse to the fuse box, you know, stuff like that. Examples of home remodeling: adding new rooms or extensions, removing or altering walls, behind the wall plumbing or electrical work, new HVAC systems, and structural modifications, like you're doing something to the foundation or something. Or foundation repairs and framing. I already had it in there. It can get confusing because remodeling companies will also do the renovations or the finish work. So they're not just going to put the frame up on a room. They're going to get a sheetrock. They're going to get it all taped and mudded, and they're going to get it painted, and they're going to put baseboard on there and all that stuff. But if you don't need the framing done and you're just doing paint and stuff, there's no need to call a remodeling company. You look for renovators or like handyman that will do it. Remodeling companies they're generally bigger because they do the bigger stuff. But you're not just paying for labor and supplies. That's kind of what you're doing with like a handyman. You're also paying for more comprehensive insurance, HR department, secretaries, work crews and their taxes, software, advertising, buildings and vehicles. A lot of overhead. I kind of compare it to making a sandwich at home and going to a restaurant. Everybody goes, especially these days, you go to a restaurant and say you order a fancy hamburger. And you're like, oh, geez, this hamburger alone costs $14. What in the... But you're not just paying for the hamburger. Yes, you can make it for $7 at home. What you're also paying for is the ambience, the decor of that place, the table you're sitting at, the chair you're sitting on, the cook who made it, the server who brought it to you, the person who brought you to your seat, the advertisement, everything else. That's what you're paying for when you buy that burger. Understand? All right. Renovation businesses can be big, but they're generally a little smaller, like family owned, you know what I mean? But they'll still have a big shop and stuff. Or they're a one-man show like me, who takes on everything, the labor, planning, the business side, all with super low overhead costs. So once you know this stuff, why would you hire a business that's geared towards and designed around doing the big stuff for the little stuff, and vice versa? You don't want the little guy doing big stuff. It's too much for him. It's good to know these differences when you begin your search for who you want working on your home, because you might not need a pricier remodeling company or general contractor when all you need is an all-around handyman or renovator. The business practices, pricing, customer service, and operational executions vary a lot. Keep following for more videos on those differences. I'm going to delve into everything.